the past 36 hours, the United States and its partners have launched Operation Epic Fury.
For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. It's a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival.
There are moments in history when a flash of steel shifts centuries of tension. February 28th, 2026 was one of those moments. Not because war began, but because a decades old strategy of deterrence, threat, and silence gave way to precision without ambiguity. This wasn't an accident. This was Operation Epic Fury, the name US gave it, and Operation Roaring Lion, the name Israel chose for itself. It was a joint military offensive, unlike most anyone alive has seen, aimed not at territory, not at cities, but at the command core of a government that, for generations, has projected hostility outward while suppressing its own people within. For decades, Iran's governing structure, anchored in a single theocratic ideology, has wielded power not by consensus but by control. Its leadership used an iron fisted system, curbing speech, curbing rights, curbing freedom, and especially curtailing women's autonomy and women's lives. Bodies under compulsory dress codes, protesters beaten, voices silenced. Okay, now the unrest inside Iran hasn't been hidden, it's been broadcasted from the streets. Young people demanding rights, women pushing against decades of discrimination, university students seeking future beyond religious authoritarianism. For years, Israel warned that Tehran's expanding nuclear program, support for militant proxies across the region of the Middle East, and repeated warfighting rhetoric weren't distant problems. They were direct threats to Israeli civilians, American forces, and millions of innocents in the region. So when the diplomatic ultimatum expired in late February and intelligence confirmed a real imminent capability to weaponize enriched uranium, the decision was made. No more warnings. It was time for precise action. Okay, now let me talk about the strike. Phase 1, cyber and radar neutralization. The story is getting way too interesting here. Before a single aircraft crossed the Iranian airspace, the defenders' radar and air defense grids were systematically suppressed. That's cyber precision, a blackout that gave attackers the silent upper hand. Phase 2, stealth and precision airstrikes. Once adversary defenses were blinded, specially calibrated airstrikes were launched against targets of command authority and strategic control deep inside Tehran and other military significant locations. The goal wasn't chaos, it was strategic deception, neutralizing the ability of Iran's leadership to coordinate outlaw behavior. Okay, now let's understand what has been actually targeted in these attacks. So, the operations architects, President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, made what they called contained but decisive strike on the regime's strategic core. According to multiple reports and now even confirmed by the Iranian media as of shooting this video, Iran's supreme leader was killed in the strikes. Several senior commanders and strategic officials were also neutralized. This wasn't random, it was precise, informed, and surgically executed. Now, here's what sets this moment apart from all the attacks that have happened in the past. The coordination between cyber and air assets, the timing that blindsided hardened defenses, the integration of decades of intelligence, and the avoidance of broad, indiscriminate bombing. If you look at how this actually played out in planning, execution, and target selection, what Israel demonstrated is not mere firepower. It showed disciplined, deliberate military engineering, where every strike had an objective, every vector was calculated precisely, and every risk was accounted for. Now, whether you hate or support or love Israel, you can't ignore the fact that that kind of capability isn't built overnight. It's decades of investment in technology, training, and strategic doctrine. Here's the interesting part, what this means for the people of Iran. Because here's the irony. While the world saw this as a geopolitical confrontation, millions inside Iran saw it differently. Yes, it was a blow against a regime that sustained itself through repression. But for Iranian women, students, and activists, every crack in authoritarian control echoes as a possibility. For too long, an Islamic dictatorship wielded power by cracking down on protests, enforcing punitive dress codes, suppressing freedom of expression. Now, with the central pillars of that regime disrupted, a space opens. Now, let me make it clear. This is not guaranteed freedom, but a possibility. Not immediate liberation from the oppression, but consider it as cracks in the fortress. That's what Netanyahu and Trump meant when they spoke for the Iranian people as part of the operation's justification. Okay, let's talk about the aftermath of this attacks. Retaliatory actions by Iran followed soon. Now, as of shooting this video, Iran has launched attacks on its neighboring states. Now, as a repercussion of it, civil aviation have shifted routes, oil markets have tightened, heads of states convened emergency councils, the world's stock market and energy markets are currently trembling. The Middle East is no longer simmering, it's absolutely boiling. Now let's zoom out, because for India this isn't distant geopolitics, it's direct. We import a significant amount of our crude oil from the Gulf region. Any disruption in the Strait of Hormuz, Gulf airspace, or Red Sea trade routes simply translates into fuel price volatility, inflationary pressure, strain on the rupee, supply chain ripple effects. Now, on the side of strategic balancing the things, now India maintains complex relations across the region, strategic and beautiful ties with Israel, energy and connectivity interests with Iran. The Chabahar port can be a great example of this. Deep trade integration with the Gulf monarchies, also expanding partnerships with the United States. Now, when a major recalibration like this happens, India must balance carefully neutrality in rhetoric, pragmatism in policy, energy security above any kind of ideology. Now, let's conclude this episode. What this moment represents. Operation Roaring Lion wasn't just a strike, it was a signal that deterrence lines, once crossed, can trigger decisive action. A demonstration of what integrated cyber-air warfare looks like in 2026. A reminder that small states with high technological density can project outsized strategic power. For supporters, it was restoring deterrence. For critics, it risks escalation. For the Iranian people, it may represent a pressure on a system long resistant to change. For India, it's a reminder that global stability is not abstract. It's economic, strategic, and personal. History will judge whether February 28th stabilized the region or accelerated to the next phase. But one thing here is absolutely clear, that the Middle East didn't just witness a strike, it witnessed a recalculation. And in geopolitics, recalculations change everything. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Vande Mataram.